Yup, we're doing this again, driving these two to death.
Yep, we've got with us the Toyota Innova Hycross, the petrol as well as the hybrid. And we've been itching to get behind the wheel of this car for one very good reason. The Innova Hycross's first drive experience was honestly way too brief. So now we're really going to drive the Hycrosses from here in Karnataka all the way up to our base in Pune, Maharashtra, if they can make it.
And you know the drill. We drive till the cars themselves say they can't do it anymore. Till the distance to empty reads out 0. And in interest of fairness, both cars are being driven together in the same manner to keep things equal as much as possible. Now we know that the hybrid Innova is going to win. What we're interested to know is by how much.
The journey from Bangalore was largely uneventful. A bit of city traffic on the way out, but endless highway from there on. I called dibs on the hybrid, so Tushar got familiar with the Hycross Petrol. Almost immediately, Tushar engaged in a clear display that he's now in his 30s and got cozy with his inner uncle.
You know what I really like this car? Commanding driving position, steering's mad easy to use, nice and big comfy seats, the ride is amazing, engine's mad smooth too. I really like this. Arun, dude, this thing is... I really like this car, man. It's priced at what? Slightly more than a top spec Creta or Grand Vitara. But like, I don't think anything else at this price point will seat 7 people as comfortably. And it's like, what, 10 lakh cheaper than your Hycross?
It is, but there's good reason. A, it does not have expensive hybrid tech, and B, that model is the GX, right? So it's one above base, so it doesn't really have much. Do you want me to read out things that your car doesn't have?
No.
Okay, so leather seats, leather strap on the steering wheel, soft touch dashboard, panoramic sunroof, ADAS, ventilated front seats, automatic climate control you don't have, JBL sound system, what else? Oh, power driver seat with memory. Oh wait, reverse parking sensors.
Power windows have one touch, up down, all 4 of them. That's pretty cool. To be honest, I'm fine without the gizmos, but the one feature I desperately missed on this trip, cruise control. From Tumkur to Davangere and beyond, the roads are as close to perfect as it gets. On the horizon, the sights were beautiful and at times simply breathtaking. But with roads this wide and straight, boredom was hitting hard and no amount of songs or singing would fix that. But it gave me the opportunity to answer a question you may have had. So, for the D2D, I've been driving the 2-litre non-hybrid petrol Innova Hycross. And I've been curious about this particular version because at the back of my head, I'm thinking high displacement engine, big MPV, how usable is this going to be? It's naturally aspirated, right? So here's the thing. If I had to sum it up altogether, I'd say that this particular version of the Hycross feels like a big Honda City to drive. The formula is very similar. CVT, naturally aspirated, 4-cylinder. So regular cruising and all, it's got adequate power. It's perfectly suitable for a relaxed driving style, which means that you can get up to 80, 100, 120 and sit there nice and easy, absolutely no issues. The maneuverability on this thing is also incredibly easy. It makes the Krista feel like a Herculean task to use. But at the same time, because it's not turbocharged and because it's a naturally aspirated engine, it doesn't have that kind of torque or punch low down. So when you're cruising, it's fine. But the second you need to make an overtake, especially if you're going to be driving with load, which you probably are with a 7 or 8 seater like this, it gets boomy, it gets noisy, and you're going to be... It's not that the engine feels strained, but it is audible. And if especially you're going to be doing this with a full load, say through ghat section, it's definitely going to make the engine feel like you constantly need to push it, and that of course is going to take a fuel efficiency toll as well. So yeah, for most people, cruising, city commutes, perfectly fine. This engine will get the job done, no issues whatsoever. Even the CVT's behavior itself is been given these kind of steps, so it doesn't just drag on every single time. It will try and kick down or mimic a kick down sort of. But yeah, you are going to feel that little bit of performance lacking, especially if you're driving with a full load.
As the sun set, our fuel gauges were still comfortably near full. So we said, screw it, let's take a short detour into Goa and change up the drive route a bit. Soon enough though, Tushar and I would both be begging for the boredom to return.
The drive towards Karwar through pitch dark, single lane, trucker loaded roads was stressful enough to make an engineering viva feel like a gift. The high beams roasted our pupils sore, and the short overtake windows meant the Hycross Petrol had to be revved out repeatedly, hitting its highway gains hard.
The hybrid's E-systems made my life a lot easier behind the wheel. That little boost of torque from the electric motor meant that I could genuinely overtake on whims. But now we'd been driving and shooting for over 11 hours and were desperate for a warm shower and some sleep. And finally, at midnight, we made it.
The next day.
Okay, so dude, hence proved, Goa plans only work out when you don't plan them. But driving through Goa has been all nice. I have to run out of fuel before we start the Amboli Ghats. I'm down to my last 60 kilometers of range. If I don't run out before the Amboli Ghats, you're towing me to Maharashtra.
I don't know about that because I've got 280 kilometers of range. So I should very comfortably cross over into Maharashtra. Alan, what range do you have?
So yeah, our shoot car, the Fortuner, is the third car on this test. Diesel auto rear wheel drive. So the Hycross hybrid doesn't let its guard down.
270. So onwards to Pune then?
Yeah, why not? Onwards to Pune we went, with my eye locked on the DTE until the inevitable. I am out 659.3 kilometers, 659.3, just short of 660 kilometers, sorry, 659.3. Arun, 14 kmpl average आणि ट्रिप डिस्टन्स दाखवत असं 659.3. तुला कितना असतं?
Okay, distance to empty from the Innova Hycross hybrid 237 kilometers and trip distance is at 647.7.
The Fortuner is at 222 kilometers and trip reading is 657 kilometers, and that's with an efficiency of with the average of 14 kilometers per liter.
Alright guys, let's get a stat check shot in of all our MIDs then. That's it. The Hycross Petrol is out. Time for all the data stuff now. There's a lot of information here. I'm going to leave most of it in the table. But here's the most important stuff, right? 659.3 kilometers, that is when we hit the refuel or range zero mark. 661.6 kilometers, that is where we came to refuel. And if we extrapolate the overall data, it did 661.6 kilometers, consuming 47.68 liters of fuel, working out to a fuel efficiency of 13.87, call it 14 kilometers per liter. And with the fuel left in the tank, 52 liter tank, this thing could have done another 60. So that works out to basically a car that can do 660 to 700 kilometers on a full tank. And this is with driving on open highways, revving the absolute nuts out of this engine while driving on our roads towards Karwar, those single lane roads. And we also encountered a lot of city traffic. Now it's on to see how much more impressive this Hycross gets when it's got a hybrid tech assisting it, and of course what the Fortuner diesel is going to be like as well.
Despite having a smaller tank, the Hycross was in the lead as far as distance to empty was concerned. This had a lot to do with the small winding roads that lead into and out of Goa.
Alright, we're crossing Amboli Ghat right now, and like most ghats, this ghat too has a lot of narrow sections where your speed's quite low. And in fact, because it is under 60 for all of these sections, the car's actually running in EV mode. It's running purely on battery power. So where the Innova Petrol and the Fortuner diesel are burning through fuel continuously, this is making those little savings of 300 meters, 500 meters here and there. And of course, whenever the road goes downhill, all that energy gets fed back into the battery pack and I get more range.
The Fortuner's advantage lies in its massive 80-litre tank and the fact that I didn't really have to slow down to a crawl every time the road disappeared. As road trip machines go, the Fortuner really is right up there with the best. And Arun seemed quite pleased with the Hycross too.
Alright, so now I've spent about 750 kilometers in the driver's seat of the Innova Hycross Hybrid. And if you're considering one of these to be your next road trip companion, there are a few things that you need to know. First things first, the seats, the cushioning is really good. It's the right amount of firm. So even over large distances, you won't really feel fatigued. Second, I really like the height of the armrest, both on the door and the central one. Just one small niggle, if this could be extended a bit, I'd feel a little more comfortable. Another thing that I really appreciate is the visibility all round, even at the rear. And yes, you do feel the size of the car when you're driving it, but it's easily manageable. You can spot the two corners of the car quite easily. If you're going to be driving through the night quite often, the headlamp performance, it's adequate, I'd say. It's not the best. I wished for a little more intensity from the white beams, but it's good enough. One point that keeps circling around in my head is that this thing doesn't feel as abuse friendly as the Innova Krista, but in every other measurable way, it's better. And I'm saying abuse friendly because the Innova Krista is a ladder frame, it's rear wheel drive, so you can take it off-road, on those kacha roads quite easily. With this, with the larger wheels and the slightly lower ground clearance, I found myself being a little more cautious and a little more careful.
Careful he was. And as it turns out, climbing up the ghats takes more out of the Hycross range than the Fortuners. And soon we were neck and neck.
Yo Alan, what's your DTE looking like?
So I have a range of 113 kilometers.
Dude, that's the exact same range that the Hycross Hybrid is showing. Wait, what's your trip distance though?
778.3 kilometers.
Okay, I'm at 767.2. So the Fortuners counted an extra 11 for some reason. This one's going to be close, I think.
Yeah, I've caught up. Close doesn't even begin to describe it. As we made our way onto the highway, the two continued to be split by basically nothing.
Okay, that's Alan. Alan, what's your DTE?
So I'm at 16 right now.
I am at 17. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay, the Hycross Hybrid is finally down to single digits, 8 kilometers distance to empty. This walkie has pretty much died, so I've got Alan on call here. Alan, hello, give me bad news.
Yeah, bad news. I am at 5 kilometers remaining.
Okay, please run out of fuel quickly so I can win this and get done with it.
I am at 2 kilometers remaining.
Okay. Driven 4 kilometers of range remaining. I can see you through my windscreen and I'm waiting for you to pull
I'm
to a
at one.
dignified halt.
I'm at 1 right
One.
now. I'm at 1 right now.
Chalo, last 1 kilometer.
Shit, it was damn close, dude.
Very close. It's very close. But I'm 100% sure you're going to run out before I do.
I'm going to try and use Tushar's Hycross as slipstream.
Hey, don't cheat. Don't cheat. No cheating, Alan. See, there's Tushar. See, there's Tushar. There's the Legender. Now we wait for the Legender to come to a slow halt. I'm at 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers.
Oh!
Oh, come on. My GoPro has died. My GoPro has died. Now I have just Gaurav with the camera there. I'm still at 2 kilometers.
We are tapped out. We just have refuel on the thing. There's no zero, it says refuel. So
Okay,
refuel,
so what is your final trip?
906.4 kilometers on my trip, and according to this, it's been overall average for all of that was 13.7 kilometers per liter.
Come on. 1 kilometer left. 1 kilometer left. Come on. Give me 895. Give me 895. Give me 895. I'll be happy. 895.2. Refuel 895.4. 895.4. Now the Fortuner might have the larger trip distance, but we've tapped out after the Fortuner. Now what we're going to do is head straight to the petrol bunk, fill it up and give you the actual numbers. Yes! 18.9 kmpl according to the trip computer. And yeah, let's see what the actual figures are after a tank full to tank full.
So we've filled up all 3 cars now and we have the final results. So with the Fortuner Legender, it managed an efficiency of 12.99 kilometers, so 13 kilometers per liter on average. It could have gone a further 128 kilometers on the fuel that it had in reserve. And so totally it has a possible range of 1040 kilometers.
Okay, time for the data of the Hycross Hybrid, and this is where things get interesting. Fuel efficiency stood at 18.68 kilometers per liter. Based on the fuel that was already in the tank, it had another 73.81, say 74 kilometers of range left. Add that to what it did, the total range on the Innova Hycross Hybrid is 971.7 kilometers. Let's round that up to 972.
Yep, that sounds about right. And to sum it all up, understandably and unsurprisingly, it's the naturally aspirated petrol that landed up tapping out first. But even so, with a rough tank range of about 660 to 700 kilometers, I'd say that it is plenty impressive for what is a large car running a high displacement, naturally aspirated petrol. The Fortuner, proving, as I did in the previous drive to that turbo diesel still has a lot of value, especially in applications that have big vehicles like the Fortuner itself. But the Innova Hycross Petrol Hybrid is winning this comparison, and comfortably so.
Okay, and there are 2 sets of numbers that you need to focus on to understand why, right? Number 1, the rupee per kilometer cost. Let's start with the non-hybrid, which was at 7.67 rupees per kilometer. Then comes the Fortuner at 7.26 rupees per kilometer. And then there's my cute little hybrid, which takes only 5.69 rupees per kilometer. The second big takeaway that I must give you is that the Fortuner has a bigger tank range, yes, but that's because it's got 28 extra liters of diesel. So 28 extra liters of diesel in the Fortuner diesel will give you just 68 kilometers of extra range. So that's that.
And yes, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe and share, please, it really helps us. And what other cars would you like to see next on Drive to That? We are gonna head home for a long hard rest. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
See
Bye.
you.